I really wasn't going to make a video on this topic, but there have been certain events that have led me to making this video. So we're gonna talk about nice guys. You know the subreddit r slash night guys, nice guys. We're talking about those kinds of nice guys who think they're God's gift to women and think that their shit doesn't stink. Those guys. We're gonna talk about them. Um, for the simple fact that if you don't know these signs, you probably should. You need to look out for stuff like this. Because it is absolutely fucking draining and it is just an absolute annoyance to deal with, to be completely real with you. Um, so these kinds of guys are the kinds of guys who like they get their attention on a woman, right? And they really like try to subtly work their way into this woman's life and um try to like push, not push. They try to weasel, we'll say, their way into a relationship with this woman, right? And they will in the process say all sorts of manipulative things, and it is absolutely manipulation when someone says that they care and they want to do this and that and they want this relationship to go this way but not listening to you or um taking in any sort of accountability whenever they upset you. Now, in any sort of relationship, platonically, romantically, whatever, you're going to have conflict. It's just going to happen. You're going to have a disagreement and that's fine. But what isn't fine is these guys will you will give these guys criticism, right? Like, hey, so like this kind of bothers me, or this isn't the way that this isn't right, or something along those lines. Just hey, just so you're aware, kind of thing, right? And they take that as a personal attack. And when they take it as a personal attack, then they get defensive as if you just like took their lunch money or some shit. You know what I mean? And in those situations, honestly, it's best to just let them have their moment. I don't do that. I'm terrible at this. I'm going to give you advice that I definitely do not do when it comes to these situations. It's best to just let them talk and just I'm not going to say listen or just take it, but just let them have their moment because it is going to continue up until you stop or you just make it very clear that you're done with the conversation, right? Now, what I do in those situations is not the way you should handle it, but it's my preferred method. I will argue with these people until the argument is done or I've made them cry. Again, I'm not going to say that you should do that. I'm just that kind of person when it comes to manipulative people. Um, I don't have any qualms or quarrels about hurting somebody's feelings if they're going to take something like that as a personal attack and then choose to argue with me and try to attack me for it. I have no issue with hurting your feelings if you're that kind of person. I will not sleep any worse than I already do, I promise. Um, but again, I don't recommend that people do that because there are better ways, there are healthier ways to deal with it, but I'm just not that person. I'm not there yet. Um, Now, those are the same people who I don't know if they really like intentionally do this, but it seems to be a pretty common thing where they make things into a competition, right? Like let's just take weight loss. Let's use that as an example, okay? You can you can say you can give them advice, on weight loss and like give them a tool even to use for their own weight loss, and they will come back with, oh, but my plan works and I'm going to stick to it. And even more so, what I deal with is way worse than what you deal with because of blah 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 blah. Um that's just it's a really dumb example, but like things are always a competition. My pain is worse, my experience is worse, blah blah fucking blah, right? No. Nobody's experience is worse than the other. My experience with something absolutely horrible could be very different from your experience with that very same thing. That doesn't make either of the experiences any less valid than they are. Okay? There are certain factors that you have to take into every experience, and that is your perception is your own reality, right? Your experience with certain things becomes your reality because now you've seen what works for you and what doesn't, and what might work for you won't work for the next person, and so on and so forth. Everybody's different. And since we're going to use weight loss as an example, I'm going to use that specifically. Let's say two people on a weight loss journey, right? There are certain factors that one deals with that one doesn't. That could come down to genetics or diabetes or whatever it is, right? And that other person doesn't have to deal with that thing. If that person who doesn't have to deal with that thing tells you that your experience is invalid because they don't deal with that thing and your plan works, um, just don't argue with them. Let them have their moment and cut them the fuck off. Because if they're the kind of person to belittle that kind of experience, that something that small, it's not a small thing, but like that tiny example of invalidating your experience, imagine what the fuck else they're going to invalidate in your experience. Because that's going to lead down a rabbit hole of a whole lot of different experiences that they invalidate if you bring it to them. Such as, you're having a bad mental day, okay? You tell them that you're having a bad mental day, and you just, hey, this is where I'm at for today, right? And they come back with, well, I'm dealing with this, this, and this, and I don't really need to hear what's going on with you. You're just putting your shit on me, kind of thing. Just don't go to that person about those things anymore. Because the people who care to listen, the people who have no intention of having a competition with pain, they will listen and validate and maybe even try to offer a solution or some kind of encouragement, something like that. Not make it a competition. Or tell you that they don't need to hear what you're going through because of XYZ. Some sort of excuse, right? I also want you to be aware that these are the same kind of people who will try to make themselves look good in a conflict. And what that means is they will try to deflect. Some of them will try to deflect at or try to misdirect, I should say. I think misdirect is or redirect is the right word. Because what they'll do is they'll try to change the topic and try to get your mind off of the conflict at hand with something that has nothing to do with the current issue, even though there has been no accountability or acknowledgement of the current conflict. Okay. These are the same kind of people who will go on Reddit and they will be like, I did all these things and I was really just trying to save her and blah, blah, fucking blah. And lo and behold, they list out things that they were doing and they're treating this woman like fucking garbage. in whatever way that is, that's what they do, right? So when you if you're the person who's experiencing this kind of treatment, then what you really need to do is just cut them off for your own benefit, because it's not going to change unless they do the work to make those changes. And there comes a point in every man's life where you make a pivotal decision. Okay, that pivotal decision is grow and change and try to do better, or you stay where you're at, you get worse even, and you make it everybody else's fault because you're not at fault. There's no accountability on you. You are completely blameless in your entire life, right? Um, the men who choose to do better and grow, they are perfectly okay with taking accountability and owning up to their mistakes and listening to you. Um, what the thing with that too is those guys are working on not trying to be defensive. So like if that man is trying to do better and he's still defensive at certain times of conflict, like I understand that that's frustrating, but in for those people, man or woman, who are actively trying to do better, and they're that they're working on trying not to be defensive whenever they need to take accountability, give them a little bit of grace. For these nice guys, don't give them none. Don't give them none, because it's not gonna get any better. Because what these guys, I think they share the same common problem, and that is they were never told no, and they never had to take accountability for things in childhood. That's what I think. I could be wrong about this, but in my unprofessional opinion, that's what I think is happening. Um, I think that these guys were coddled, and or even they had the sort of Andrew Tate dad, who thinks he's an alpha male and blah blah fucking blah. Somebody who walks into a room and commands respect is entirely different from what I think social media portrays as an alpha male. Because an alpha male is somebody who generally I want to punch in the mouth. Um, because those guys, they walk around like their shit doesn't stink, and they never do no wrong, and everybody owes them everything, right? No, no. Men don't act like the world owes them. Men don't act like a perpetual victim. Um, there are times where everybody is quote unquote a victim in certain situations. There are things that's going to happen to you that you have no control over. There's things that people are going to do to you in some way or another, and that's not going to be your fault. That's that's being a victim in a valid way. But somebody coming to you with criticism, or hey, I want to talk about this and correct the issue, and you take it as an attack, you are not the victim. You don't get to be defensive and play like they just attacked you out of nowhere. Just doesn't work that way. If somebody is coming to you with an issue, everybody who is willing to communicate an issue is doing so most times. I believe people who are willing to communicate what the issue is are doing so in order to solve the problem, in order to come to a common ground and try to resolve that issue because it's an issue for them. Not like a hey fuck you. It's a hey, let's work on this. Let's address this. So keep that in mind too, because those quote unquote nice guys will really try to manipulate any and every situation possible in order for it to be in their favor. And if they feel like it's in their favor, then that gives them a sense of control. And that's not a thing you want to give them. Not those people. These are weak people who are seeking control over things that they have no real power over. And that's the problem for them. They have no power over whatever it is. So they manipulate and they play the victim, and they they get defensive over little things. Things that don't even fucking matter. And well, it becomes an issue. We'll put it simply. When it comes to these people, I cannot legally give you my preferred method on how to deal with these people, um, because it's just gonna get you in trouble. Um, but if you are experiencing the nice guy treatment, and there is a difference between genuinely nice men and a nice guy, you just, for your own benefit, leave. I don't care if it's a platonic, romantic, familial. I don't care. I don't care. Regardless of what it is, if you are getting that sort of treatment, just leave. Do not give them what they want. Do not give them the rise that they want out of you. Do not give them the sense of control that they're seeking. Just don't fucking do it. It's going to drain you, and it is going to exhaust you. It is absolutely going to be a detriment to your mental health if you keep dealing with these people. So just don't do it. That's all I have for this one. If you want more examples on what this treatment looks like, go to the subreddit r/niceguys. You will see plenty of examples of what I'm talking about, and you will see plenty of examples of what these guys talk like, and I don't feel like I need to explain any further. Just go look. On that note, though, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you in the next one.